Hello, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of A Different Point of View. I'm Konate, your host, and this next topic is a very interesting one. Today, I want to talk about Winsome Sears. She is the first Black woman and the first woman of color to be elected to a statewide office with regards to being a lieutenant governor. Winsome Sears ran under the Republican Party. She was born in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, actually. Came here at a very young age, served in the Marine Corps, ran a homeless shelter, and she runs her own business. This is a woman that I, thought that we should know more about. That I should hear about her in Essence magazine. I should hear about her on BET, TV1. I should hear about her on the Steve Harvey Morning Show, 105.1, the Black radio stations. I have not heard anything about her. And I have to wonder, if she were a Democrat, would she be getting more exposure? Would she be getting more attention? Would she be getting the respect that she deserves? And one of the things, and anytime I hear about a Black Republican or a prominent Black Republican, first thing I do is I look to see who they're married to. She's married to a Black man. She has a Black family. To me, that's a good place to start. Why isn't no one talking about it? And no one is talking about her because Black people, you have it wrong. You have it very, very wrong. You think your enemy is the Republican Party. Wrong. Your enemy is not the Republican Party. Your enemy is white supremacy. See, I'm going to repeat that again so you understand this, because it is imperative that you understand this. Your enemy is not the Republican Party. Your enemy is white supremacy. And white supremacy exists in the Republican Party, and white supremacy exists in the Democratic Party. See, you're not talking to Candace Owens, you're not talking to Larry Elder, you're not talking to any of those conservative Black people who think that the Republican Party is the answer. No, don't misunderstand me. No, you know who the answer is? Us, Black people. The answer relies in you, not political parties who have been playing good cop and bad cop with you for decades. You are the answer. And until Black people, you come together and you start supporting each other, you start being here for each other, your situation is not going to change much. And I get so frustrated because it seems like we let the liberal white media tell us who to love, tell us who to hate. We let the liberal white media tell us who to root for and root against. And you don't question it. You don't look back. I mean, and the point is to get you emotional, because we are like emotional toddlers. We ignore facts. We ignore evidence. We ignore what's the truth. And just because the liberal white media tells you, they point, and that's where you go. You don't even think for your own self. I always found it amazing how you you absolutely hate Donald Trump, but you love Bill Clinton. It just amazes me. Because if I look at things from a policy perspective, Bill Clinton was one of the worst presidents for Black people ever. Want me to give you some specific policies? Let me give them. Like to hear it? Here it goes. 3 strikes and you're out. That meant that Black people, if you committed a felony, it didn't even matter if they were minor felonies, you would spend 20 to 25 years in prison. And keep in mind, you don't necessarily have to be a murderous raper. No, just having a drug charge, drug possession, drug abuse. Yes, crackheads went to jail for 20 years. Not, instead of them being rehabilitated, they were sent to jail for 20 to 20 years. This is Bill Clinton. Ready for some more black people? Hear it, like to hear it? Here it goes. Truth and Sentencing Act. That meant that you had to do over 80% of your time in prison under Bill Clinton. But you love Bill Clinton, but you hate Donald Trump. What more? Like to hear it? Here it goes. Mandatory minimums. That means that the judge had no discretion in how you were sentenced if you were found guilty. This is Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton increased the number of correctional facilities all across the country. They expanded exponentially under Bill Clinton. But you love him. Bill Clinton got rid of all of those. Remember when black men were getting, they were leaving prison with law degrees and plumbing licenses and electricians, all that. Bill Clinton got rid of all of that. Well, at least the vast majority of it. Again, but you love Bill Clinton, but you hate Donald Trump. And those are policies, those are actual policies. But when I ask you to give me a policy about Donald Trump, you cannot give me a policy. You can't. You cannot give me a policy that has disproportionately hurt black people. You say to me, oh, Donald Trump said that, there were good people on both sides. Not a policy. Donald Trump is an asshole. Not a policy. Donald Trump is a racist. Not a policy. You're not giving me policies. Well, Donald Trump called Haiti a shithole country. Not a policy. And speaking of Haiti, Donald Trump called Haiti a shithole country. Bill Clinton actually destroyed the economy of Haiti by expanding, or should increasing, the export of rice. He completely demolished the economy of Haiti. Hillary Clinton collected $4 billion, didn't give the Haitian people $1. And you're upset at Donald Trump because he called it a shithole country, but you love the Clintons who completely destroyed Haiti's economy? I mean, really? And this is the thing that really gets to me. We're so emotional and we're so silly. You're silly. Here it is, you have a black woman who won a lieutenant governor position in the state of Virginia, and you ignore her, but you put Billy Porter on the front page of Essence magazine. Billy Porter, a black man in a dress, gets to go, he gets a front page cover, but you ignore Winsome Sears? Really? Really, black people? Why? Because she's Republican? Wow. And again, this is not me supporting Donald Trump. Please, I do not want you to misunderstand that. This is not about me supporting Donald Trump. This is how we are just told who to root for and who not to root for. And you know what? So I'm thinking, why is it that 94% of our vote goes to the Democratic Party? So that's why I'm talking more about the Democrats than I am the Republicans. No other demographic supports a political party the way black people do. Not men, not women, not young, not old, not educated, not uneducated, not crippled, not one eye, not one leg. It's you, black people. You support the Democratic Party 94%. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do, as long as they're Democrat. I mean, Joe Biden said to you, to your face, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And you just ignored it. Joe Biden was at the forefront of Clinton's 1992 crime bill. And he sat on that Senate floor and he basically was dog whistling all over the place. If you don't support this crime bill, they're going to come to your homes, they're going to rape you and kill you. Wow. But yet, you ignored it. Black people, you let the liberal white media, you let them convince you that you were in slavery for 4 years under Trump. You were just enslaved. And when Joe Biden won, you niggas were dancing in the street because you have just been emancipated by the next great white savior. You ignored the fact that your employment was at its lowest. Your middle class had grown. Black businesses had grown by 800%. Black men, by the Truth and Sentencing Act, were being released from federal prison at record-breaking numbers. You just ignored all of that. You completely ignored it. Why? Because the liberal white media told you who to love and who to hate. Oh my gosh. When Joe Biden won, I mean, you literally acted like you were in slavery for the last 4 years. They convinced you of that. And here we are. It's really frustrating. Again, your enemy is white supremacy. It was actually the Democratic Party that came up with this welfare system that has incentivized literal generations of black women to have multiple kids out of wedlock, that basically accessed the black man out of the home. This is Lyndon B. Johnson, okay, and his poverty programs. It said, black women, we will support you, we will provide for you. Just keep that black man out of the home. Keep that father figure out of the home and have more babies, and we will keep incentivizing you for that. That policy destroyed Black America. And when I think of the policies that really destroyed Black America, these are Democratic policies. So why do we support the Democratic Party so much? Why? Why? Because they pander to you? Because they placate to you? Because they talk about hot sauce and fried chicken? So that's all they got to do? Talk about some fried chicken and some hot sauce and get some rapper to speak on your behalf and talk about how they love Biggie and Tupac? That's all that it takes, right? And do some barbershop commercials. That's all it takes to get you to support. Oh, I got it, black people. Maybe they should play a saxophone on a talk show. That all it takes, black people? Really? Are we that silly? Are we that silly? You know, when Joe Biden decides that he wants to run for president, right? Who is one of the first people he gets to speak on his behalf? Cardi B. Cardi B, a woman who talks about her vagina for 3 minutes in a song. A woman who all she talks about is red bottoms and Gucci this and Gucci that, who teaches black people to be financially dysfunctional and who teaches little black girls how to be thoughts. That's who your spokesperson was. That's who the Democratic turned to speak on your behalf. Not a black doctor, not a black lawyer, not a black politician. Cardi B. Because black people like to have a good time. You like a jig. You know, and what's interesting, see, here's the interesting thing. Black people, you're actually more conservative than you think you are. Notice I didn't use Republican, I use conservative. When I look at the picture of Winsome Sears, I know that woman. She was my Sunday school teacher in church. She was one of those church mothers that always had the extra mints in her pocket, who would bring you by the ear and give you a mint. I know her. And black people, if you're coming out of that church environment, especially if you're from the Caribbean or you're from the South, you're actually more conservative than you think you are. So, but again, don't misunderstand me. This is not an advertisement for the Republican Party because they're racist too. But we don't give the Republican Party 94% of our vote. Your enemy is not the Republican Party. Your enemy isn't necessarily the Democratic Party either. Your enemy is white supremacy. Simple and plain. Those are my thoughts. I would love to hear yours. Please like, share, and most of all, subscribe. This is Konate with a different point of view. Peace.